Hello, hello, hello. Happy Saturday. Here we go. Wow, coming at ya. This is we've got a 5x daily stream combo going, which I don't even want to know the last time I achieved that. There's always something coming up, preventing me from streaming the whole full 5-day, Tuesday through Saturday. But we did it this week, so that feels like an accomplishment in and of itself. So, I think we did it. I think we can. I'm just going to end the stream right now. No. We're going to keep working on the cutaway system. We're getting close. We're getting close to something cool. But we're dealing with a lot of issues. So we're going to keep working on that. Yeah, I hope everyone's good. Hope everyone's enjoying the weekend, whether it's, for a lot of us it's a Memorial holiday weekend, it's a long holiday weekend. For some of us it's just Saturday, and I hope that's enough. Hope everyone just has a good Saturday. All right, so we wrote a new cutaway system that works by compartment. But we aren't really recording the compartments in a way that fits for everything. And I actually noticed a bunch of issues, so let's just start knocking the issues up. There's definitely some Z-axis stuff we're running into. So like this already isn't working right. We're like, if I make this space, like, it's nice that, this gets cut off so I can see it. But also, it's not really supposed to be happening like this. And if I make multiple rooms, it doesn't really work right either. Yeah, it reverts to the cursor cutaway, which is only supposed to be a backup. So that's curious. Mr. Magoo, hey, how's it going? How are you doing? Yeah, so I don't know why we're hitting this backup and we're not using like the regular cutaway system once we're in this kind of state. There's also some crazy stuff with some Z-axis stuff that I don't want to think about right now. It's good. It's Saturday. I just got back from a there's a little like mom and pop like diner around the corner from me. Just got back from a nice big breakfast, did my grocery shopping, and then I just went live. Talked to an old friend on the phone. It's good. I'm having a good day so far. How are you? You said you're doing good, so yeah, that's good. Hope we're all good. All right, so what I want to know right now is why we're kicking in with the backup system. Cutaway tiles by compartment. We've switched over to that mode. So we have this case. If part index evaluates to 0, engage the cutaway tiles by cursor chords. Oh, we can't do that. That's stupid. I see why that doesn't work. All right, so how much better does this get if we just take that out? Maybe I want the system to like snap. Maybe I want like a snapping system to make it easier to make rooms. What's weird to me is how there's something happening. Here we go. Yeah, I see a problem. So it's cutting the ceiling off like basically all the time, and I understand why. Part of the problem is the way the preview block works. Hmm. All right, let's see if the per room stuff works. Okay. Yeah, I think when I added some logic that had to do with yeah, look, we're not even cutting any of the walls away. We're not treating these as different rooms. Yeah, there's some weird stuff going on here. These walls should be going down. All right. Let's get rid of this. I think that's causing some problems. Seems like I didn't change very much with this. Why does it do this? Why does it do that and then this? If I go the other way, yeah, what is with that? I mean, I know I'm telling it to do it. I just don't know why. Yeah, there should be stuff happening. Yeah, we're over relying. Man, we had it working so well before. It looked so cool before. And now it's just like, I don't know what it's doing, but it's doing some weird stuff. Each room would like pop open as the mouse cursor went through it. It was like so cool. And yet now things are just kind of behaving weirdly. If key.z is less than compartment.maximum.z, key.z is greater than compartment.maximum.z. I wonder if there's a problem with the way we're recording the compartments. I wonder if we changed the way that worked on accident or on purpose. No. It is possible that we're visiting. So when we do an interior flood fill, we start from the initial. I kind of want to print out the contents.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp, Mr. Magoo. Aye, aye. Alright, we're just gonna see. We're just gonna say for each compartment in compartments, debug.writeLine. We're just gonna see what we're getting for a minute. I just want to eliminate the possibility that it's an issue with the recording the compartments. Oops. $32, $35, $1. 49, 45, 2. 32, 35, 1. 3235 1, 4945 2, 3235 2, 4945 2. Yeah, this is behaving incorrectly. Oh, I see what it's trying to do. I see. And then what if I break this up into 3? Okay, the compartments seem to be working. Okay. Okay, the problem is not there. It's good to know. I think we still have a... Because we're merging... Part of the reason we separated the preview blocks from the settle blocks was so that we could treat this stuff kind of correctly. And the problem is the mouse cursor is always redefining the used bounds, because the used bounds is being calculated with including the preview blocks. So maybe we don't want to include the preview blocks in some cases. We need a way to distinguish them. But let's worry about some of this stuff first. So the compartment, so part index is blockbuffer.span, blockbuffer.getIndex, coords.part. So definitely part of the problem is that the part that's recorded for a wall is 0 typically. It's 0 or it's not being updated. And that's because we need to switch to like using like flags for compartments. We have to decide how we want to do that. All right, so if the key for this tile is greater than the compartment.maximum.z, we just continue. That's fine. We don't cut away anything below what the room we're in. If key.z is equal to compartment.maximum.z, if we're on the same level as the bottom level of the compartment, we treat it this way. This doesn't work quite right. Is it because we say if tile.layers key.w is... No, this is fine. So basically we're saying if our tile is a floor, don't cut it away. If we're on the same level, that's fine. We're not using the coordinates very much. The cursor coordinates. Kind of only going based on... I guess we use the cursor coordinates just to define what compartment we're currently looking at. And then we ignore it the rest of the time, which is fine. Problem, I think, is here. Where if key.z is less than the compartment.maximum.z. If key.x is less than or equal to compartment.minimum.x. or key.y is less than compartment.minimum.y. Yeah. See, this all looks good, and I swear this hasn't changed since we were running it before and it was working correctly. So I'm like very curious about where the problem might be. Like, as far as I can tell, there's no reason why the walls shouldn't be getting cut away when we do something like this. Like, if we make this thing, there we go, this. Like, if we do this, these walls, if I'm over here, the walls in front of me should be getting cut away. Yeah, you can see how awkward this is when I do like this. We need to not include the preview blocks in this somehow. I'm not quite sure how. This also shouldn't be happening if we're on a higher Z level. This stuff shouldn't be getting cut away if we're on a higher Z level. Like, if key.z is less than the minimum for this compartment, it's super weird. I wonder if I can calculate the use bounds off the settled blocks first and then do the merge. This might break, but this is really something I want to try because I think it would make certain visual problems a lot easier to deal with, but it also might just break everything. Yeah, so it does help for sure. That's curious. This shouldn't work this way. In this case, based on my understanding of what I'm doing here. Yeah, I don't know how we broke this so much. We had it working like trivially when we first set this up. It would like only reveal the room or the rooms in front of the room that your mouse cursor was in, but now it's not doing anything. It just eliminates the front walls and the ceiling. Very strange. And this doesn't seem to be doing what I thought it would do either. Even if we're doing the used bounds merge here. Interesting.
Maximum warp.
Maximum warp, no Jewel. How's it going? Happy Saturday. List vector 3i unvisited equals bounds.toList. Integer part index is equal to game.world.compartments.count. Return. Oh, there. If part index equals 0, return. That should fix one of these things. Okay, well now at least if we're outside, we have to enter the area for it to... Okay, that's an improvement. But you know, we could probably undo this thing. We could probably build the used bounds based on the merged blocks. We've got that carve out. How's everyone doing? Happy Saturday. We've gone from trying to address bugs in the flood fill to addressing bugs in the cutaway. Okay, this works at least kind of the way I want it to. You have to mouse into an area before it will. This is maybe not ideal, but that's fine. We want to expand it so that the walls next to a compartment are considered part of the compartment. We just can't quite do that yet, but that's okay. So now what if I have more than one compartment? Oh, I can't even see. Oh, because it's considered... I see. Hold on. Okay, we have to at least... Even if it's mostly broken, we have to kind of start doing this now. We have to say... We have to move these up here. My posture is really bad right now. Let me try to fix it. All right. There we go. That's better, right? Yeah. I should be standing, but I'm just feeling tired and lazy. I'm digesting this big breakfast too. All right, so if we try to just assign the compartment before we evaluate whether it's a solid block. Should at least get us some of the way there. It's going to be particularly incorrect, but should be kind of okay. So now if I do this, okay, now I can at least see inside. Okay, here we go. Here we go. This is kind of working now. See? And then if I start layering these, so now it's like this. And if I look at this one, it shows both of them. It starts to fall apart if I start to have strangely shaped rooms. Like, it really only wants to work if we've got... It's interesting that this works. I would have thought that this would have automatically caused this to... show, but it doesn't, so that's good. This is a bit of a problem. Like, if I'm trying to break a hole into this, it just doesn't do anything. So if it's 0, that's when we need to... So part index is 0, that's when we do like some kind of cursor coordinate style cutaway. Maybe. Yeah, we need to switch away from using the axis aligned bounding boxes. It was easy. It is the easy way to do this. Does this work if I start rotating things? No, we crash. Oh, but we crash for a stupid reason. Expected view got orbit instead. Okay. So when we're recording this view command, we're getting it, it's being recorded incorrectly. So output views.enqueue command.back, output views.enqueue command.back. Should it not be back? Should it be step 2? Case command.arg.orbit. Because, yeah, we step in. Command.next. So we need to say, instead of command.back, we need to say command.step2 view. We should do that here just for safety as well. It's a fun little function, helper function I made. It basically finds the index of a particular argument and then just sets it to that step. And if it doesn't find it, the argument's out of range. I don't love my command pattern. I don't usually use it, but I usually use something like this, but it's working okay considering our constraint of having the cross-domain concerns of these command arguments are being built from like arrays of strings in Godot in GDScript and then passed over to the C#. And they have a long life. Kind of weird. It's very, very antithetical to everything else I'm doing, which is like entirely relying on structs and like the entity component system and everything. But it is a fair usage of, you know, a command pattern. I'm not a big capital P pattern kind of guy, but I'm trying to do better. You know, I got my game programming patterns book. Trying to be more thoughtful and conscious of like what architectural choices I'm making. What am I doing? I doing? Oh yeah, so we fixed this. So we were checking to see if camera rotation works for this system. If it causes weird problems with compartmentalization. It shouldn't, because it's all being done in relative space. So if we have like a weird room like this, some weird stuff should happen. Like this should cause these walls to go down but it's not, because I'm trying to maintain what stuff that's in the room. We need something more sophisticated. Instead of calculating based off an axis aligned bounding box, it needs to be something like it needs to figure out what compartment we want, and then it needs to be able to, given that compartment, identify all the other compartments that might visually interfere with that compartment. The problem is it needs that list for any given camera rotation. So like this room obscures this room from this angle, but if we swap angles, yeah, now the system doesn't work at all. So this system so far doesn't work with camera rotation. It's a problem. It only works when it's in the canonical view. So that's no good. Weird how this hides this room. It shouldn't. They don't actually interfere with each other. Yeah, it's weird. So if you notice, if I'm in this room, these walls come down. But if I'm in this room, the walls stay up, and it's because I don't want to hide. Like if there's details in this room and I mouse cursor into this room, maybe I do want to hide the walls. If you've got a weird structure like this. All right. All right. I guess that's true. All right, let's change it to work like that. So to change, we're not in the fill system, we're in the tile system. Excuse me. Why did I write this? Why is this predicated on the game being in the edit state? Weird. Xenoroths. Xenoroths. This is Rider. You've never seen someone use it? Yeah, this is Rider. I like it. I've used it for years. Oh, Xeno works. Okay. You said Xeno works, and I was like, how does your name spell works? And then I figured it out. Streamer brain is real. Hey Xeno, welcome in. Yeah, this is Rider. I've used it for a long time. I used it in Unity, and now I'm in Godot, but we've kind of split our simulation layer over to C#, and so we're still just using Rider because we like it. How are you doing? We're working on kind of a isometric 3D version of FTL faster than light. Very kind of retro, low res kind of thing. This is like maybe like a scene of what a bridge might look like. You've been doing Godot C# for a while. It's been okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. I have a lot of opinions about it that are probably unfounded. Our C# code doesn't touch the Godot engine at all. really, except in one place. We have a really weird structure. We have our scene tree, and the root of our scene tree is this game node, and the game node is the only script that is written in C#, or the only node structure that's in C#. And so this is kind of our window, passing stuff back and forth through. This is how we get tile set data or tile map data and like other things back from the simulation layer. We pass it back and forth through here. Then we do all of the simulating stuff here. And then we pass what we need to pass back, and then everything gets handled. All the rendering in the UI and stuff like that gets handled in Godot and GDScript in the scene tree and everything. You don't use GDScript at all? Yeah, I have this unfounded fear of like the memory marshal. So I'm doing my best to like have Godot stuff handled in Godot using GDScript, and then having the stuff that doesn't need to talk to the API just kind of in C# in my little simulation world. It's a pretty weird way of doing it. That's similar to you. You just find a var cringe. Oh, well, don't look. I use var all over the place. I do try to use the more statically typed variant of GDScript. Like I do voluntarily try to type, make my stuff type safe and everything. But I do prefer just to be in C# for sure. We've made questionable decisions. We have like an entity component system that we built in C# for not good reasons. But that's kind of what powers are. Because we don't have the scene tree, that's kind of how we organize everything. And I kind of like it. It lets our simulation objects be very, very, very lightweight, because they're just components or dynamic buffers or whatever. I don't have to pay for having everything be a node or a resource or whatever. And I don't have to pay to talk back and forth between the managed side of C# and the unmanaged Godot engine code. You know you can access in the tree in C#, yeah? Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm purposely avoiding mixing the two domains. Like, we build our tile map data in C# here. We build it all, then we pack it into a byte array that gets pinned, and then we pass it back through to Godot, and it gets, and that's where, and then in Godot's side, it gets unpacked by something. This. Then we unpack it. So we're trying to pay as little as possible for the cost of going back and forth. It doesn't matter, but you're talking to someone who made an entity component system in C#. Myriad colors, there's probably bindings for C. Feels good to code in C#. Oh yeah, everything's bound. You can do that. They're actually, in the future, they're going to change the way C# interacts with the engine. It's going to be a GD extension. Right now it's this kind of weird thing, but it's going to be treated as a GD extension just like anything else, which I think is going to be cool. But yeah, I specifically don't like that exact process or that way of doing things, but it's no judgment, you know. It's just I don't want to be going back and forth with the engine in C#. It's super arbitrary. I don't know why I'm trying to defend myself. It's just what I've decided to do. You use custom nodes? Oh yeah, that's fine. You don't need to do what I'm doing. Nobody needs to do what I'm doing. People probably actively shouldn't do what I'm doing. You're doing a Sokoban, which is likely much simpler. Oh yeah, we have these big 3D volumes that are getting simulated because we're trying to like simulate spaceships in 3D. So there's a lot of simulation going on, and it felt like enough where I wanted to get it into a different... If I was any good, if I was a real programmer, capital R, capital P, this would all be written in C++ as like a GD extension. 3D with 2D nodes. 3D with tile maps. So it's all tile mapped. I can kind of show you probably. You want to try coding a game in Godot using vanilla C, just to see how painful it would be. It would probably be pretty painful, Myriad. But it would probably work. I have been tempted at some point to try like Odin or one of those other like C-like game frameworks. So like we can build these 3D spaces. I don't think it's gonna work on a lower level. Probably. So we can build these 3D spaces here. I actually want to make this one bigger. Camera works a little weirdly right now. Don't worry about it. That's what we're working on right now. So we've been working on how the cutaway system works in this situation. So we have a big, this is all many tile map layers. It's handling all the rendering. So we've been working on a new cutaway system that lets us peer into the ship, which since it's a 3D ship being rendered in 2D is kind of tricky. So that's kind of what we've been working on a lot lately. It's getting this to work. It works okay in the case where the rooms are like fully rectangles, but if the rooms start to get like more complex shapes, the system starts to fall apart pretty quickly. If we were real programmers, we'd be using Unreal and be hired by a big company. Why? Like why I'm using tile map layers? Because it's 2D. It's a 2D game. I have an auto tiler. I'm doing custom isometric auto tiling. So this is like 6 or 7 tile map layers just to render each block. Oh, this is interesting. Why is this misbehaving? Oh, the doors are not working right. Oh no, they're working okay. They're being cut away though. That's strange. You can auto tile the doors. No, what is the purpose of making the room? That's more a what is your game question than a what are you programming that for question. Oh, okay, Zeno. If you're not familiar, we're trying to make a version of FTL faster than light. We're trying to make like a 3D version of FTL faster than light. Odin's really cool. What's the game about? Are you using BSP? No, we're not using BSP. I don't think. Binary space partitioning. No, we aren't, but we probably should. We actually, I need to dig more into how we're going to block off some unusual room shapes. Because I need to be able to support it. Like, FTL is lucky. They don't have unusual room shapes, really. Everything's a square or a rectangle or something. But I want to... All of my tools run in the game. They run in real time while the game is running. So, like, you can build the game in the game kind of thing. So you can build ships and stuff. You making it so the ships are custom? I'm making it so that I don't have to hand build the ships. The player can make it. Yeah, that's a goal, is so that the player can make their own ships. At least with the goal of modders being able to do it. I don't know how much you're gonna like build your own ship during a run, but I just want to dog food all the tools. Like I want to use the tools to build the game and then make the tools available to like modders and stuff. Weird how the door is being hidden. I don't like that. The door is not being treated as solid. Well, it is, and yet it is being hidden for some reason. Actually, I guess that's correct behavior in this case. I need a better way of indicating that a door is somewhere. I need to start doing like outlining on the floors when there's a door so you can see that there's a door, even if it's been cut away. It's a cool concept. Thank you, Myriad. All right, so I wanted to change the cutaway system so that it was not so aggressively cutting away walls inside the room that we're in. And to change that, we need to look at this part. Key.z is equal to compartment.maximum.z. So right now what we're doing is we're saying if the x coordinate is less than or equal to the compartment's minimum, yeah, or the key.y is less than or equal to the compartment.minimum y. So if it's on the outside, the back face, if it's on the back side of the room, we don't need to cut it away. That's correct. It's this part, the if key.x is less than compartment maximum x and key.y is less than compartment maximum y. That is causing the room, that is causing objects inside the room to be cut away. Oh no, it's supposed to be that's supposed to be causing objects inside the room to stay. That's what we want, right? I feel like that's... Oh, no. We want them to be cut away so that you can see in there. So let's just get rid of that for now. Buskas the Greatest. Hello, welcome in. How's it going? Happy Saturday. So if I make a room... We need to have a separate cutaway rule for when I'm exterior, for when I'm doing the exterior. Khalid Khalil, 69. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. Hope you're having a good day. Happy weekend. So if I just start putting like random blocks in here, they're getting cut away. That's kind of what we want. It's kind of what we want. But it's also kind of not. I think I want a more sophisticated system so that you've like, if you mouse up to them or behind them, you hide. I think I want a mixed cutaway system somehow. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure how we would achieve this. Because the way it is, you'll never be able to see the wall here. Like, you'll never be able to see what's in here. Whereas if we turn this back on, we have another problem. Which is, if you have, like, pillars and stuff in the room. Redeem the hydrate. Khalid, thank you. Appreciate that. I did have a lot of coffee this morning with breakfast. So this is definitely more the way I want it. So like we separate the compartments. So you have to mouse into the compartment to be able to see into the compartment. That's great. What if the compartment has like a column? Like what if it's like what if someone's like, I want like walls here for some reason? Well, that's fine. Problem is maybe we need like sub compartments. Maybe we need to just create a bunch of, maybe we're talking about like some kind of bounding volume hierarchy or something, or like binary space partitioning like someone else suggested. Because right now I'm just handling the cutaway based on the room itself, but that obviously falls apart in some cases. And it also doesn't need to be quite this aggressive. Like if I'm looking in this room, I don't need this wall to be erased, but that's fine. And if we have a weird structure to the room, like, I don't know. Let's make the room weird. If we make the room like this. This works right, but this doesn't, see? Because it considers these part of this room. Because it's using just using a bounding box. It doesn't understand, so we probably want like at least a couple. We probably want to do this per block because each block keeps track of the number of compartments that it belongs to. We should probably start working on that, is what we should probably start working on. Drink more. Another hydrate, thank you. This looks very cool and complicated. Thank you. You're the greatest. We're working slowly on like a isometric 3D version of FTL Faster Than Light. We're trying to make like a 3D little space simulator game. It's getting bigger and bigger the longer I work on it in terms of like the kind of size of the ships and everything. So it's probably going to end up being kind of RimWorld-y, I'm thinking, like a little slower paced. A little bigger, a little slower paced. It's probably not going to be quite as tight as FTL. I mean, that's 3 hydrates. I'm drowning here. Thank you. I feel so hydrated. Another one. 4 of them. And you start adding limits, huh? So how could we change this? So what would this look like if it was... So right now we're asking about the key. We're asking about the key relative to the compartment that the mouse cursor is in. So we're evaluating the keys of all... We're evaluating the coordinates of all the tiles relative to the compartment that we are in. What if we're in multiple compartments? This is where the AABB starts to fail. Can I drink more, please? No. No Jewel, redeem the stretch. Thank you, No Jewel. That's also a good idea. I'd probably die if chat wasn't just taking care of me like this, huh? Probably die. Probably would. I'd certainly be dehydrated and like really tense.
Your logic was impeccable, Captain.
Thanks. Thanks, within a second. Huskus the greatest. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. All right, so if we want to do this differently, so what does this do? Why did I write this? I'll try this again. Key.z is greater than or equal to coords.z. So is that just a fallout or a fallback so that if I like make a room and I go down here, it doesn't do shit. Oh, because it works the other way. We probably want it to work. Probably want a slightly different metric. So what if I go down another layer? Yeah, we're not eliminating upper layers so that I can actually see what I'm doing, and it's kind of a problem. We should probably be doing that. We either should engage the other cutaway system or we should do something else. Oh, yep, see, I like broke a wall over here. The fact that the cutaway system doesn't work under camera rotation is an issue. Oh wait, does it? Nope, it doesn't work. It works in one particular spot for some reason. Huh. Yeah, gotta fix that. There's a camera relative view thing happening. Oh, that's interesting. I want to move away from this working on layers thing to more of like a ray tracing kind of thing, where like the camera or the game figures out where your cursor is. And then like you can overwrite it by manually shifting layers. But I would like you to be able to interact with the game without having to be worried about what layer you're on. It would be cool. I don't know. Maybe that's stupid. Oh. Got someone. We got a spam bot we can ban. We also got ads coming. Blasted. Yeah, because this is kind of being weird. Like I don't really want it to do this. But it probably should, honestly. It should probably eliminate every layer above the layer that I'm currently working on. I don't love that. I feel like I'm shaving off a lot of the... Like, I feel like you're gonna hide a lot of the art if you do that, but it's probably more coherent what's happening. No Jewel resubscribing with Prime. Thank you so much, No Jewel. Ship it. Let's do that. Yeah, I kind of don't want it to work like this. And yet it probably should. So this is a result of us enabling this piece. So if I took that piece away, we get this. So if we do it this way, it hides the rooms. That's probably just worse in every way. It looks cool, but it's probably worse in every way. We probably do want a mix of my old cutaway system that was like coordinate based and this new one that's compartment based. Probably want like a hybrid structure. Yeah, that's correct, I guess, doing it this way. So key.z is less than the coordinates. Oh, it's this game state, this peak game state thing. I want to take that out. I don't know why I put that in here. This is it. We're going to use the cutaway coordinate directly at this moment. And so that just causes us to cut away anything above where the mouse cursor is. Above in Z terms. Now if I do this and I go down one, I still can't see anything. That's so weird. Oh, I know why. I know why. That's more what we should have. Like, I get that the top should just basically be shaved off. I wonder how it should work when we're in a room that's like extra big, like a room that covers 2 levels. I wonder how that should work. Yeah, this is probably correct. What if the wall is double wide? Does it still work pretty much? Pretty much. This is simple, but it's nice. So what if I copy this whole chunk here? What if I copy this and add it over here? Oops, that was wrong. Give me that back. There we go. Control V. Oh, there's missing a wall. Okay. It doesn't... I do need a backup for when we're outside. It needs to, like... I don't know what it needs to do, but it needs to do something. I guess the best I can do is what we had before, which says that if part index is 0, instead of returning, we just say cut away tiles by cursor coords. Just say block buffer. So that I can at least see what I'm doing when I'm outside, quote unquote outside. So like, if I have that on and I start doing this and I mouse down, okay, now I can see things again, which is nice. I don't understand this, what's happening here. This is weird, but I don't understand why that is occurring. It's like something's a greater than or equal when it should be like a greater than. It's like we're cutting away our own mouse cursor. Yeah, that is what's happening. That should not be occurring. If I do this, yeah, then we just switch to cursor. I don't understand this, whatever's going on here. Okay, what if we go back to using a different set of used bounds? Use the settled blocks. I guess we could do it in the other order, it wouldn't matter. Okay. That fixes it. Okay, that makes more sense. I was like unclear why that was happening. So it's hiding the ceiling above us, but we can use the middle hull, the dark gray rectangle to tell what we're building under. And now it's switching to this weird... It's still doing this, which is so strange. Why does it do this? I guess I need to change the way the cutaway by cursor coords works if I want them to work together. This is very strange what's happening here. Like this part's working. This part's working. What if I poke a hole in this? How does this work then? Yeah, what the heck? Does that do the same thing if I... Let me see if I do this a different way. If I go straight for that... We do this instead. If instead of using the cutaway by cursor chords as a fallback, if we make that the primary cutaway thing, does that behavior still happen? It'd be weird if it did. But I don't see how it couldn't. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, so this doesn't behave insanely like that. I wonder if we want both, honestly. I wonder if we want both cutaway systems working. So we have the compartment-based one, and then we run the cursor-based one as well. Wonder if we do both. Wonder if that's the way. That could be cool. I need to figure out why there's some problems, though. Like, the compartment-based one is doing weird things when we're out here. Where partition should be 0. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I think I want to run both. Maybe we don't do the floor thing, because right here we have this, like, the floor is very aggressively being cut away. Maybe we do. As like a preview, like you can see, like, do I want to look into this room? And then you can pop over here and it'll open up completely. That could be cool. Maybe we do it in such a way that the compartment doesn't need to know about every other compartment. Maybe we don't need a tree structure. Maybe we just say, here's the compartment we're in. All of the walls around this compartment are tied to this compartment as well. So maybe it just says, okay, you're in this compartment. Hide these walls, hide the ceilings above it, and that's it. And then you switch to a cursor coordinate for things like like columns like this. Maybe that mixed approach is the best. Because this kind of skinning approach doesn't... It looks cool, especially when you're, like, on multiple Z levels. I think it's a little confusing. It's a little disorienting. Yeah, let's try and mix, but there's something weird that happens when you're out here, when you're using the compartment one. We'll switch back. I wonder which one we run first. I guess it doesn't matter. We just try to run both. So we stop this, we say return. So part index equals blockbuffer.span, blockbuffer.get index coords, block.part. I want a helper function here. I want you, instead of having to do this, I want you to just be able to get blockbuffer.get, and then you can pass in coordinates. I want to be able to do that. Buffer 3D read only. I wonder if there should be like an I buffer. Well, there's already an iBuffer component. I should have this, I should name this something different. So there's iBuffer component, and then this should be iBuffer 3D component. Shouldn't be component 3D. Be iBuffer 3D component. All right, so what I want is I just want like a get function. So we got get chords, we got get index. I just want to get, I want like a get block. Does it need to be get block? No, it could just be get. It could be public t get. And then we could either have index, and this just returns span index. We could also have public t get vector 3i towards. And this is just get index. I should just say span get index chords. And that's nice. That's nice for us. So now when we're in here, instead of saying blockbuffer.span blockbuffer.getIndex chords, we should be able to just say blockbuffer.get chords. I could say get by. I don't know. Whatever, get's fine. We could even, instead of having this, we could have this be a try get instead of having to do this contain check. There could be an out. Would be like, you know, I don't want to do real work when I just start doing helper functions. Public bool try get vector 3i chords out t value. If contains chords, value equals span get index chords, return true, return false. What? Oh. false. Default. Should this be nullable? Oh, do not use nullable. I forgot how we did that, how we're supposed to do that. It's a struct, it shouldn't be nullable. I don't want to make it nullable. I don't know if I like having a try get, but whatever. Problem is you can access the value whether try get returns true or false, and so usually you do something where you say like not null when yeah. It also doesn't matter at all when it's a struct. Yeah, I've got it. I've got the thing here. Right now we're saying if not block buffer.contains chords return, which is fine. And then if that doesn't return, we go get the part. Why am I doing this twice? Why am I getting this thing's part again? What's wrong with me? So if part index is 0, it's going to return, which means we need to depend on the cutaway by cowards. So let's say that the cowards one kicks in after. I still want to fix whatever the hell is going on here. Maybe that won't trigger. So let's see. So we've got this. So if we just return when we're in the outer area, we don't get these weird things going on, right? Okay, we don't get the weirdness? No. Okay. It's only when I try to process it regardless. I see. There is a side effect of this, of doing it this way, that's not ideal, but actually, hold on. So if I'm doing it this way, we can go back here. We can use the merging blocks. I want the preview blocks to be included in flood fill. I don't want it to be just the settle blocks. That way, if you're previewing, let's say you like chop a room in half for some reason, and you like take half of it and you move it out, and then you move it back, but you don't place it again. You just move it back and leave it there. The system should be able to tell that you've done that and flood fill that room. That will only work if we put the merging blocks into there. Should probably not call them merging. All right, this should still work the same way. There shouldn't be any different behavior than we just saw, even though I changed this. Okay, cool. Cool. I need to worry about diagonals. I need to figure out what to do with a diagonal. I don't want diagonals to be allowed to form a seal, but they currently do. So like this forms a seal, right? Even though it's just barely held together. I feel if that sort of thing happens, I want to swap these blocks out with like, I want like a hole to appear here. So that if you want to create a seal, you have to do it on like the corners. Yeah, I do want to do that eventually. Did I only do this for... Forget try get. I need to add these to the other... to the 3D read write. Alright, so now we're doing that. So now we're basically... I guess we might as well give the compartment the first... So we're going to have a mixed approach to the cutaways. The compartment will go first, and then we'll cut away by coordinates. So we cut away tiles by compartment, then we cut away tiles by cursor coordinates. I think either one by itself is inadequate, but together they should be quite awesome. We do need to tune the behavior, though. Yeah, I don't think I want the floor thing to be doing what it's doing. So we'll make a couple rooms, and then we're gonna like scatter some like columns around the rooms. Just some weird shapes. So now if you want to like look behind when you're in a room, you can do that. But if you go to the next compartment, it just pops. Yeah. Okay, that does not need to happen. That's the thing we need to change. So if we're in a compartment, we just want to basically say, are you in line with the maximum? Do you have a coordinate that is equal to the maximum, but not the minimum? So basically, are you like part of these two walls? That's not going to work. Not going to work. That's not going to work for unusual shapes. I'm still thinking about unusually shaped rooms. Like if we have a room that's shaped like this, I don't know how to deal with it. I mean, I guess like the manual cutaway handles that to an extent. I think it's gonna have to like look at a wall, look at the tile behind it to see if it's at the edge. It's gonna have to look at the two blocks next to it and see if it's at the edge. It's unfortunate. All right, let's take away the offset. I'm done with the offset, I think, for the cutaway. So cutaway tiles by coordinates. We define this offset, and we use the offset for the Z stuff. So we're not going to do that anymore. Instead, if key.z is less than coords.z, then we're going to say if key.x is greater than coords.x. Oh no, we just use this logic. Can we use the same logic? key.x is equal to 0 or key.y is equal to 0. That's weird. Oh, we're doing that just to avoid cutting away the edges of the board. That's a strange approach. I don't think I like that. Or I don't think that's necessary. So otherwise we say if key.x is less than coords.x or key.x.y is less than coords.y. If key.x is exactly equal to coords.x and key.y is exactly equal to coords.y. Yeah, these are the two. This is the two criteria we want to carry over. Do we pass in the block buffer literally to just do a containment check? I don't want to do that. Actually, we might end up using the block buffer. We were just talking about ways in which we might use it. Although not for this one. Yeah, whatever, who cares? No, that's not right. Okay, so this carve out we don't want. So now if we make a thing here and we go down one, it's a lot more precise. And that's enough for building stuff. If I go down here. I want to switch this to be less than or equal. I'm going to try that. I think this will help. So we have this wall, this ceiling above us, right? And so we're cutting away into it. And if we grab this block and we want to go back, this like it hides just underneath it. So it shows you that you're like, yeah, so it shows you like this. And you, as you go back. Oh. I don't want exactly that. Maybe I do want what we had before. It looked weird at first, but I think it's exactly what we want. So if we go down one, we get this weird shape. It's not like exactly, but I think it's what we want because if we put a block here, it shows that it's like, that's where we're building under. So you do this. You get that. Which is... Oh, no, that's correct. Is it? Yeah, it's correct. It looks a little weird. That looks all kind of weird, actually. But I think it's a little clearer where you are if I do it like this. So here you can see that you're building under a floor tile. I think that is helpful. I think it looks a little funky, but I think it helps you figure out where you are. So as a visual aid, I think I like this. And so if we create a compartment, so we do a little bit of cutaway stuff. Okay, so this kicks in here. That's fine because that's not how it's going to work in the long run. Actually, it might. That actually might be how it works in the long run. So if I start making compartments. Okay, this is getting closer to what I want. So we have the compartment-based stuff. And then if I have weird things going on in here, like, I don't know, weird shapes, then I can hide them. I need like a curse. Oh, ooh, that's weird. Well, that's a kind of a degenerate shape. That's fine. Yeah, I think this is good. This lets us hide inside here. What if we have weird shaped rooms, though? We haven't really addressed that problem. So we have an unusually shaped room like this, let's say. Yeah, that's not good. That's no good. Maybe we do some block comparisons. All right, so what we need to do to move on to the next phase, which the next phase I want to do is I want to have block-based cutaway. I want to cut away by block, by like block compartment. Right now what we're doing is we're looking at an axis-aligned bounding box that we record for each compartment, and we're just cutting away with extreme prejudice. I don't want to do that because, like, to show this room, it's cutting away this whole room, and, like, I don't feel like that's necessary. I feel like it would be sufficient to just cut away the ceiling and just this pair of walls. And then if I'm in this room, it behaves all kind of weird. I wonder if I should prevent a triple wall. I wonder if I should prevent you from being able to have 3 walls in a row. I don't know how I would evaluate that, though. It kind of just behaves badly. That's the problem. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting somewhere. This is kind of fun. I think we're getting the best of both worlds with this new system. I think we're getting the kind of particular... I think we're getting the precision that we want when we're building stuff. And we're getting a more easy view like this for when we're like selecting things in a space. Which it would be nice if I could have different systems for both contexts. And we probably will to some extent. But I think you want to keep the way you interact with the game very consistent throughout the entire thing. All right, so what we're going to be doing... So I want to make a bit. I want to make a bit field, and I want to store these as a bit field. Hey, still needs work. You need to take off. You want to stop in and say hi? I appreciate that. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for hanging out here for a little bit. All right, so this is the C language specification. All right, so I usually do this with an enum, but we're not doing this with an enum because we're not predefining the values. I mean, we could, but we're not going to. So that would mean turning block. So let's go here. So I probably shouldn't use int. I should probably use like an unsigned value for these. So where's the block? We need to go get our block. Could probably grab a block somewhere around here. Here it is. So instead of an int, could we make it like a uint? So then what we should be able to do compartment, it's going to be a uint. So the other thing we have to do is we'll have to implement the partition. So we're going to say partition. Partition can equal 1. I'm not going to call it count anymore because it's not really a count. And we're not going to plus equal it either. I do still want this safety check. Okay, so partition is always false. Oh, because I'm not increasing it. So we're going to say partition times equals 2. Can I put that in here? No. So we need to, if we're going to use this as bit fields, we need to only use multiples of 2 here. Or when we increment it, we need to multiply itself by 2. Just to make sure we're only using 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64. And that way we can assign multiple partitions. So we're going to, when we do that, so the first time when we exterior flood fill, we do just want to make block with part equals 0. That's what we want to start with. But when we do the interior flood fill, instead of saying part equals compartment, we're going to say part equals block dot part or compartment. The only thing about this is I'm going to need to, so if we do this, we're able to record multiple compartments in a given block. Like a block can belong to multiple compartments. So when we mouse over a compartment, we'll need to know all of the compartments that we mouse over. Which means we're going to need to be able to separate them out. Which means we need to be able to process them the same way we process forms. Forms are easy because forms are an enum. We're not using an enum. So we have this all enums, enum.getValues. What we need to do is we need to take like the maximum value. What's the highest bit value? Probably shouldn't use an integer. We should probably use a short. uShort holds 16-bit integers ranging in value from 0 through 65,535. Yeah, so I want this to be uShort. That's more than enough. If we ever have more partitions than that, something has gone horribly wrong. Why is it complaining about this? Is this bitwise operator not do what I want it to do? Local variable block. Part is a U short. Compartment is a U short. Is it not going to let me do this? Might have to just use uint, huh? I don't know why this isn't working. I don't want to use a uint. I want to use a U short. Oh yeah, so bitwise operators in C# seem to apply to int 32-bit integers only. I don't love that. Casting the result back? That's stupid. We might do it though. Whatever, we'll use uints for now. If it looks like it's a problem, we'll... Yeah, I don't know. We'll worry about that if it's a problem. For now, it doesn't matter. So the part index is not going to be an index anymore. So I'm just going to call it part. Part is 0. Return. This hack. We're going to hide this hack because this shouldn't apply anymore. We're actually not going to use this anymore. So your part is that. So we need to make a list of compartments from this. So it's going to be like a list. Is it going to be a list? It could also be... No, it's there. So what we want to do... We want to find all the parts. So how do we do this one with a form? So with a form, we say all forms. That's all the forms that exist. What we actually want I'm like trying to take the bitwise stuff that I use with enums and trying to just do it straight up on a value. A little weirder, a little more awkward. I don't have all the helper functions. Use the generic overload. Type of forms. Okay. Try that. So what we do is when we're trying to enumerate through all the forms, we say for each form, so for each discrete form in enum.getValues forms, we shouldn't do this. Here we should just say all forms. For each form in all forms. Yeah, that's allocating memory. So for each form in all forms, if form and form is form, yield return form. So we essentially need to be able to do this, but we need to do it on each discrete possible bit value in the thing, which I really don't want to be a uint because that just has bajillions of possible values. It could be a much shorter thing. I don't know why bit manipulation. We could just use a bit array class. I don't really want to use the bit array class, but we could. That seems like a lot and not good. The only reason I would do that would be to save me some trouble of what would really end up being like enumerating a list or something like that. What we should just do is iterate through each. We should just iterate through each bit and see whether it's set or not. And if it is, just record the bit position that we're set in. Yeah, we're just going to do that. That's like really stupid, but it should work. So here, thing is, we just need to make a list of those positions, huh? Compartments. So just doing this naively, just to start, we could say for variable I equals 0, I is less than we don't want max value. We want like we want half of max value. Again, we really don't want to be using uint for this. We want the max individual bit value in a U short. What's the highest individual byte in a U short? Highest value is 65,535, so it's one below that. I'm just gonna do this. Don't look at me. $32,768. But that doesn't matter because that's not what we actually want to do. It's not actually what we're doing. It's 16, right? So it'd be for I equals 0, I is less than 16 because it's a 16-bit number. I plus plus. Or maybe I do want a uint. That's a 32-bit number. I'm gonna run into a compartment problem. Or like a max value problem. Maybe I want something even bigger than a uint. But we'll go with a uint for now. So for variable I equals 0, I is less than 32, I plus plus. We would just say we would just ask is part And there's a lot of options for how to do this. Ooh, there's an intrinsic. I want to look at this. So system.runtime.intrinsics. Actually, I'm going to look this up somewhere else. System.runtime.intrinsics. I don't want just the count, though. I want to know which ones. Recording partitions here. So what we're trying to do, because we probably lost the thread, anyone who's been patient enough to sit with me while we're doing this, is that we're storing bit flags of each compartment that a block belongs to. And because of walls, that can in theory be like 2 or more. It could be more than 2. In practice, it should only be 1. But it could be at least 2. Maybe this is the wrong way to go about it. Maybe if it's generally... Oh, thank you for the stretch. Smooth in a second. So if we think about a wall or floor, that can really only belong to 2 compartments. It's 1 or 2. So maybe there is a better way to do this. Like we could just record what the compartment is behind you and the compartment is in front of you. But that's I guess that's relative to the camera, so we can't actually record that. Or we shouldn't. Well, no, a block in the center, a block at the meeting point between 4 compartments could be said to belong to all 4. So actually the value is at least 4. And in that case, maybe doing it this way is okay. I don't want to count all the bits. I think the easiest thing to do So we're just going to go for I equals 0, I is less than 32 at the moment. So that's the only that's the number of partitions we can support. We're going to need to update that. So U long could at least support 64. If a ship has more than 64 partitions, we're going to have a problem. That might actually end up being one of the more concrete limitations that we encounter. We're just going to say part. We're going to say if part and 1, yep, 1 bit shift left I is not equal to 0. What? Oh. Stupid. You can say compartments dot add I. This is like the stupidest, naivest way to do this. But you know, it's probably okay. We could even keep a list of, we don't need to allocate this every time. We could also just keep it as a local list. Say like compartments. Could also just call this parts instead of compartments, but I like that better. Could also call it partitions. I like compartments. So we're gonna say compartments.clear. That was so stupid. You can be an int. I think. All right, so that's how we know all the compartments that touch our compartment. And then here what we do is we're going to say, so key.z, do we need to know the we need to know the block associated with this key. So we'll say you can redefine part here. That's okay. You can say part equals block buffer dot get key dot xyz. Dot part. So we get the part for this particular block. And what we're going to do, I guess we should call this parts, not part. It should be plural because it's a bit field. But we'll worry about that in a second. So we do all of these checks based on the compartment's maximum Z. We don't actually want to do any of this anymore. Captain Chica, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it. Hope you're having a great Saturday. We're swapping over. We were using this axis aligned bounding box to handle some essentially occlusion culling. We're switching away from that to handle more complex shapes. And we're essentially switching it to all right, we're mousing over a block. That block is considered part of one or more compartments. We want any other tile that belongs to one of those compartments to follow a certain set of occlusion rules. So now we're going to go through each block or each tile that's being considered to be rendered, and we're going to check it against that. And if it's part of that compartment, we will apply some cutaway rules, some occlusion rules first. And if, depending on whether it passes those or aligns with those rules, we will render or not render it. So if key.z is greater than or equal to coords.z, okay, so we cut away everything above or equal to where the mouse cursor currently is. That is fine. In fact, I don't know if we should do that at this juncture. But whatever, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where we do that, whether we do that here or whether we do that here. In fact, we do specifically, we explicitly do that here. All right. So now we're going to go through, instead of checking the compartment.maximum.z, we want to do, we're going to call this parts. And then we can do a quick check with the list. You know, we could probably use a hash set instead of a list. I honestly don't know what performance is better. I know it basically doesn't matter. So what we want to do is we want to say, so should we check this first? Do we need to actually store these in a list, or are we going to just basically check them every time? What we should do is we should say if parts, what we should do is say, we should do the same basic thing. Variable I equals 0, I is less than parts. I know, I is less than 32. I++. The fact that we check this per tile and not per block means we're doing these checks a lot, and it's going to slow this down a bit, but I think for now this is okay. Let's just find a naive solution, and then we can find an optimal solution. So if this part is set, what we want to do is we want to say if compartments.contains I. So if this block is part of this compartment, we could say if not compartments.contains I, continue. No, we don't want to continue. Should we just say for each compartment in compartments? If we bothered to install this, yeah, let's do that. Rather than search the whole thing, let's just say, we can just do it up here. Well, no, we need an index, don't we? No. For each integer compartment in compartments, we're going to say if parts compartment. So if this part does not belong, or if this compartment, if this doesn't belong to this compartment, just continue, check the next compartment. So if it belongs to any of the compartments, then what we're going to do, that's a condition for running this check. So we move all of this stuff down here. It's unfortunate that we are going to... Do we need to run a pass for every single compartment? So this is where we figure out whether we've got a fore wall or a back wall. If we're talking about a fore wall or a back wall. Because we're not going to use this maximum minimum coordinate thing anymore. Because that doesn't work. So actually, I'm going to not worry about moving this. So what we want to do is we want to check. So we want to grab a couple things now that we have this. We want to grab the positive X and the positive Y. So we want the positive X block and the positive Y block, which is this. Do we need to do it? Yeah, we need to do that. The cutaway is becoming expansive, but that's okay. The relative position is key.xyz. Key.xyz. So we're going to say if positive X block dot part and we're going to do basically this check. This is wildly inefficient, but this is going to be okay. So if this So if this is equal to 0, we're just going to continue. Yeah? Do I have not enough? Do I have too many? There we go. What's happening here? Oh. So many parentheses. I really don't like how C# handles some of this stuff some of the time. It's fine here, but there's some other bitwise stuff that it's just like, why do you behave this way? Oh, I guess it's both. We need to check both. Oh, I kind of need to know what... I need to know what... We're going to just call this positive block. We're going to say positive block equals block buffer.getter default, block buffer.aabb.vo absolute, key.xyz plus. And this is the part that matters. So this needs to say key.w question mark. So the key.w. So our holes.keys. So the W is the layer, and layer is XYZ. I need to know your axis is what I need to know. I need to know the axis of the tile, because the tile either faces the x-axis or it faces the y-axis. And we only need to check one of the neighbors. We need to check the neighbor for that axis. I think. Maybe not. We really want to do this on a per block basis, which we could do. Right now we're doing it on a per tile basis instead of a per block basis. So let's look at our holes.keys and holes.keys. Why do we use holes.keys and not... Oh, because we haven't defined tiles.keys yet. Here's the problem. Here's the problem. W... If W is... I actually don't know if it matters. I kind of want to look at this again, but I made so many changes, I don't think I can look at it quite now. I think I've broken it. So I'm going to try to imagine it in my head, which is not the way to do this. So if a block happens to have you need to check both, don't you? Yeah, I don't think we can depend on the W. I think we could maybe save ourselves some work. Maybe we could save ourselves some work by knowing the W. Problem is the X layer, for example, is 0 and something else, and we could ask this question. Let's try it this way. Let's try it this way and see if it works, because it would save us some effort if this worked. So we're going to say key.w. So what is key.w? If key.w is equal to, so we're going to say this, key.w is equal to deck dot, oh no, because there's also the doors. No, we can't do this. I wanted to do this optimization. We cannot. We have to check both blocks. So we can say if positive x block dot part and compartment. So if the positive x block, so if our neighbor along the x-axis belongs to this compartment and the positive, so both of these are true. So we need to do this check. We could do an or here. Let's say this. Except I don't have enough parentheses because the system is insane. So if both the positive x block and the positive y block partitions are part of this compartment, then we can continue. Because this isn't under consideration for a cutaway. However, if that's not the case, then what we want to do if we're at the edge, We need to identify which one it is, though, is the problem. Should probably save these is what we should do. Well, let's just say if we can say, so what we need to do is we need to check some coordinates. So, okay, so we've got our check. We're checking to see, we're basically checking to see, are we a foreground wall? Are we a foreground wall? So do we need to do this compartment check in every case? I don't think so. I think we can have I think we can just say, we can have this, the if key.z is greater than or equal to towards thing. So if it's not, yeah, we don't even want to consider this. We just want to eliminate with extreme prejudice. So we only want to consider blocks whose key.z is greater than or equal to the coords.z. If it's less than, we just want to cut it away. And in fact, I think we only want to consider a block that is on the same. I think I want key.z is equal to coords.z. Depends on how we want to render. If we want to do cutaways for large compartments, which we actually might want to do now that I'm thinking about it. Like we have a cargo hold that's multiple Z levels. Even if you're like messing around on one of the higher Z levels, I probably want to cut away the whole cargo hold. Just so you can get an idea of what's going on in there. So we probably want to do the whole thing. Okay, so we've identified that we are either the positive X block or the positive Y block. So we could check the X block first, I guess. So if the X block, so if is part of this, oh, yeah, no. So if you're at the edge, if we're at the edge of the X, then we want to consider, if we're at the edge of the X, we just want to cut it away, right? Is it this simple? Is it if you're in a compartment that we moused over and you're at one of the foreground edges, we just want to cut it away? Also, the continue is maybe not the right context for this because we're just continuing through the compartments. Oh, we need to maybe flip the definition here. Because we're nested in here, I don't know if I can just do... I think we might need to be positively affirming to add to the cutaway. So we might need to do like this. There are exceptions, though. Such as... let's not worry about the exceptions right now. Let's just see if this runs, honestly. This is going to be deeply broken, but I'm kind of curious to see if it even works. Like, if it even runs at all. We could also say if key is less than chords.z, continue. Reduce the nesting. Oh, it would actually be this. It's actually not the right way to do this. Oh, my keyboard, please. This is going to be very wrong. Let's see what happens. I've just reached the point where I like can't foresee how the behavior is gonna work. Oh, this is weird. Okay, so that's definitely a thing. Interesting. Interesting that it's not adding the walls to the compartment. It's not considering this part of the compartment. It's only considering this. Well, obviously we need a exception here, which is put this exception up here for now. We want to avoid cutting away the floor at the moment. Okay, so still behaving pretty weirdly. Weird that it's not doing it here. Super weird that's not doing it there. Why is it culling the back walls? It shouldn't be doing that. Parts is blockbuffer.get key.xyz. Part. Okay. For each compartment and compartments, parts blah 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 continue. Okay. If we're considered part of this, we say position. Oh, wait. Continue. This is behaving very weirdly. Key.xyz plus vector3i.write. Yeah, that's the positive x block. Oh, is it not vector3 i.up? No, yeah, up is positive y. So positive x, positive y. So if either of these are part of the compartment, what if I flip these just to see? Just to see what happens. It's the wrong behavior, but I'm curious to see what happens. Yeah, what the heck? Oh, interesting. It's leaving those two. Are we not recording the compartments correctly? We should be. Double check. Sanity check. Make sure the flood fill system is working correctly. Oh. We're supposed to be a UN. Give a shit about the AIBB, but I'm not going to remove it yet. Partition times equals 2. You pass in interior flood fill with the partition. Buffer.span index equals block with part equals block.part or compartment. Yeah, so we should be adding the compartment to everyone. Buffer.contains, yeah, sure. And not visited contains. Visited is initial. Yeah, we should be marking every single one except the corners. Huh, I'm going to test something here. I'm also going to turn off the other cutaway system, which is going to make it basically impossible to see anything, but I really want to figure out what's going on here. So we make a block. Do this. Yeah, what the heck? So what if I just start putting blocks in the middle here? Yeah, I can't see them. Interesting. So yeah, it's actually having the opposite effect that I want it to do. Oh, but if I do this, it starts to show up. Oh, it's probably because the flood fill doesn't consider those part of here. They do not. Nor does it consider the corners part of the room. That's why the corners are showing up. So it's eliminating all of the walls with extreme prejudice here, which is not what we want. So what we want to do, I did flip this at the last second to be affirmative instead of the other way around. So maybe that causes some of the problems. So what we're saying is for each key. So for each tile, so we figure out all our compartments. So at the beginning, we grab the parts from the buffer, from the block that the mouse cursor is on. This is like the room that you want to look at. We look at all of the compartments that block belongs to. Like, is it the wall between two compartments? It adds all of those compartments into a list. Those are all the compartments that belong to us. And then we go here. Firstly, we just say, is key.z less than coords.z? We'll cut it away. That's fine. So just cut away everything above us. which we don't need to have on here. And in fact, I'm probably going to move this to the other cutaway system, because it actually doesn't belong here. But we're going to do it here just so I can see what's happening. And then what we're doing is we're saying, is this a floor panel? We'll like just skip, which I don't think this is the right place to put that check, but we're just going to do it here for now. Then we say, here are the parts, this part, these are the parts. Blockbuffer.get key.xyz.part. So we get, again, I should change this to parts, not part, because now it's a bit field, but that's a new change. So here are all the parts, here are all the compartments that belong to, this block is the block that we're considering. We go through each of the compartments from the block that the mouse cursor is on. We check to see if that compartment exists. If it does not, if it does not belong to that compartment, we just continue because we're not interested. We'll check all the compartments. If it doesn't belong to any of the compartments that we're interested in, we just pass through completely. If it does belong to one of the compartments that we're interested in, we grab the positive X block and the positive Y block, and I should probably change these back to the correct values for that. We try to grab these blocks. Blockbuffer.get or default. Blockbuffer.aabb.viewAbsolute. Key.xyz plus vector3i.write. So we grab a neighboring block. We grab two neighboring blocks. We check to see if those blocks if both of these blocks don't belong to that compartment. Oh, if both of these blocks do, it should be if both of these blocks do belong to that compartment. Oopsies. Well, that's obvious. It's because I had it was, originally this was the function would work that you'd just continue through. And you'd cut away everything by default unless certain exceptions are made. Now we're doing the opposite. Now it's affirmative. It's like you have to identify a reason to cut away the thing, typically. Once you get into a certain part of the function. So this should behave more like what I'm expecting. Famous last words here. Okay, it's close. Well, it's not exact. It's cutting away this block and this block, weirdly enough, but nothing else. What about just random things in here? Huh. Why is it only this one? Why is it not the others? Oh, what the heck? Oh, I must have accidentally clicked my mouse. Okay, we're getting closer. Oh, why does this work all of a sudden? Huh. Doesn't work like that up there. Why does it work like that down here? Oh, I must have not changed that one. Okay, sure. All right, so only these little corner pieces are being affected here. Okay. So why only these? Oh, because it's looking at both. So only these are affected because these are the only ones that both of there aren't. So it should actually be one or the other. If you're the edge in either one, that should be enough. So we could actually do this one by one and save some time. Yeah, wait, so why doesn't this or do what I'm expecting it to do? So it's either or. So So if either... Oh, because it's either. It should be and. That should give me the behavior I want. All right, this might just work. If we pull this off, then we're just automatically culling the foreground walls in a compartment, regardless of how that compartment is structured. Oh, we're almost doing it. Oh, it's a little weird. Okay. The edge cases here are because we're not flood filling diagonally. If we start flood filling diagonally, this will just work. So if we make a room, so if we block that off. Oh, that's misbehaving quite a bit. Why is that happening? Oh, because it's not being reset. Oh, okay. So a block in a compartment can only belong to one compartment. So maybe we need to do this a little differently. So what if we said... So what if down here we said in the interior flood fill, before we consider whether a block... Because only a block that's considered solid should be allowed to belong to multiple compartments. So what we could do is we could say... We could structure this a little differently. So we could do this. Don't make fun of me. Actually, this is a simple enough case. I could just do this. So if it's that, we're going to do it like this. And we're going to continue. Otherwise, we're going to do it like this. With compartment. Oh, with part equals compartment. All right, I'm going to fix this. So part, this is going to be renamed to parts, plural. Okay. So if it's a solid block, we're going to add to the list of compartments. If it's not a solid block, we are going to exclusively say this belongs to this compartment only. That should fix that problem. We're like running out of time, but I feel like we're very close to having this work the way we want it to, which is really nice. That would be a really nice way to end the week here for us. Okay, so if we have one room, ignore the weird corner cases. They're literal corner cases. We just need to change the flood fill to fill diagonally. Right now, it does not fill diagonally. So if we make this other part here a different compartment, that should work differently. Nope, literally no change. Well, some change. Some change here. It should consider this part of the compartment. So this compartment behaves well. What if I make another one? Almost there. Oh, there's some edge cases here that I probably want to deal with. Actually, maybe not. That might be fine. Okay, we're getting close. The back wall culling that's happening, but only in some cases, is kind of annoying. Don't totally understand. So why would the back face behave like this? And why would it try to eliminate? Why is it only treating one of these compartments as being like legit? Is the wall being treated like it belongs to like every compartment? Is that part of the problem? No, that doesn't make sense. So it's this compartment. What's weird is it's in this compartment. We're identifying that this is the compartment we're interested in. It should recognize that this block, the blocks in front of it, belong with that compartment. And it shouldn't cut it away, but it is. Huh. Alright, if we can identify that last problem, it has to probably do with the way we're assigning compartments like this. Maybe we should debug what compartment we're looking at. Actually, what I want to do is I want to debug.writeLine. All right, well, this is like a 5-minute warning. We're going to have to stop what we're doing either way. And if that means we don't make it, that's fine. We can pick this up next week. I'll probably have this solved by then. I like to end on a nice win, but, you know, sometimes that just doesn't happen. I'm pretty excited about this process. So it works in this case. It works in this normal case mostly. Again, there's the literal corner cases that we have to take care of, but I understand why that's happening. But the problem is if we start dividing this space, it starts behaving super weirdly. So I want to start looking at the numbers here. Oh, we're not. It's not telling me anything. I don't want to write the 0. So 1. So this is all 1. Oh, that's not considered 1. Oh, so the back wall is not being considered part of this. Interesting. Where is it? It doesn't seem to be. Okay, yeah, it is. Okay, so these are... The back walls are being considered part of the thing. Alright, but what if I start to divide it? Then what does it start to look like? So you're 1, and then you're 3. No, you're 2. Who's 3? These should be 3. These are 3. Oh, so these are causing both to go away, which is fine. What are these considered, though? 2. Oh, these are considered 2. This is considered 2. No, these are considered the same. 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. So this is correct. So why is the cutaway behaving correctly here, but not here? Why does only the 1 work? Oh, because I'm looking at the value at some point. I feel like at some point I'm looking at the value. I put is equal to 1 somewhere in here, and that was not the correct. I need to just say, is it not equal to 0? I think. I choose to believe. So what if I say not equal to 0? If this works, I'm going to be very pleased. Okay, so it's only cutting away the foreground walls, essentially, when we forgive the corner cases. And what are we doing in the back here? Okay, now it's doing the same here. So that's pretty correct. Okay, so it works. There's some stuff that we gotta fix, but ostensibly it works. And then if you cover a wall, a shared wall, it does both, which is, I think, fine. Because if you're mousing over a shared wall, you're probably interested in both rooms. If you have a double thick wall, then that just doesn't happen. It's just the one. Oh, the double thick wall is a problem. I think you still need to identify rooms that are like foreground rooms. I think we still need to come up with some kind of list of like, here are the rooms immediately in front of this room. I think we need some kind of association. Because yeah, this doesn't work perfectly. What if I turn the cursor coordinates cutaway back on? But we're on our way. We're on our way. We have a lot more functionality. We can handle more than just plain rectangular rooms now. We can handle more complex room layouts. Fundamentally. I don't love what's happening here when I do this. But I understand why. It's an edge case. Oh, that's weird. I understand why that's happening as well. It's because they're not considered part of the compartment. Maybe we have like some bleed through with the compartments. Like maybe some kind of one-way thing. Like because a block only obscures the 3 blocks in front of it. So maybe we have some kind of offset. Maybe we say, are you a block like 3 tiles in front of the edge? Then we cut you out just so we can see into the room. Maybe we do something like that. And then we have our cutaway cursor coordinates to help us elsewhere. Okay, I'm like reasonably pleased with this. Oh, I actually think maybe the cursor cutaway thing just solves a lot of the problems that we were just describing. Like if we just start to make a bunch of different rooms. Oh. Actually, yeah, maybe we don't need a more complex system. Maybe the cursor cutaway system takes care of the rest of this for us. What if it's a double wall? I know this looks terrible. We'll fix it next week, I swear. Oh yeah, that just fixes it. It's not perfect, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm pleased with the direction, is I guess what I would say about that. All right, this is my last ad snooze. Just blew it. We're back to pre-rolls being on, so yeah, it's time to wrap up here. It's been a nice long stream, though. We got a lot done. We could probably clean up a couple things, like this compartments, the game.world.compartments thing is not used. I kind of just want to go destroy it. Game.world.compartments. Kill that. See who freaks out about that. Yeah, we're done using that. I like having a block-based solution. And that means we don't need this thing. Partition, compartment. Okay, cool. This is fun. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. I appreciate everyone hanging out on this Saturday afternoon with us here, or evening or morning, wherever it's for you. Night. Yeah. We'll be back Tuesday. More of the same. We're gonna finish up this cutaway system. Once we're happy, I really want to be happy with how you parse the world. I think that's the most important thing for a player. How they navigate and understand and parse the game world. But once we move past that, that's a long way to having the editor tool done. Yeah, so good progress this week. Appreciate everyone here co-working or hanging out with me. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Man, I just nailed that transition, huh? Like the song stopped right when I stopped. That was beautiful, and now I've ruined it.